I'm Frank LoSchiavo. I'm a psychology professor at Ohio University Zanesville. But like many of you, I've been a victim of ID theft. Specifically, somebody was using my credit card inappropriately. So over the past few weeks, I've learned about some ways to protect my credit, and specifically, I want to talk to you today about credit freezes. One way to learn about a credit freeze is to visit the Federal Trade Commission's website, ftc.gov. And what you want to do is search for credit freeze or security freeze. We're basically talking about the same thing there. If you search for security freeze, you're going to find the information that you want quicker. So for example, if you search for security freeze, you'll find a link to this frequently asked questions site. When you go to that site, you will find that there are lots of good questions and lots of information. Let me give you a quick summary about some of those questions. What is a credit freeze? Bottom line is a credit freeze allows you to restrict access to your credit report. It freezes it so that people cannot open it up and take a look. And why that is important is because it makes it more difficult for ID thieves to open up new accounts in your name. If they were trying to open up an account in your name, for example, a credit card account, the credit card company would want to look at your credit report. And if there was a freeze on your credit report, the credit card company would not be able to view it. And then they probably would not extend credit to the thief. That's a good thing. Does a freeze prevent you from opening new accounts? The answer is no. However, you'll need to lift the freeze temporarily if potential creditors or landlords or employers need to check your credit report. So that is one potential downside that you need to think about. If someone does need to look at your credit report, and you want them to, you'll need to lift the freeze temporarily. Does a freeze protect your existing accounts? The answer is no. You still need to monitor your existing accounts for fraudulent activity. A credit freeze simply freezes or locks your credit report so that other people cannot view it. Does a credit freeze affect your credit score? The answer is no, so there's no downside in that respect. Nor does a credit freeze prevent you from getting a free annual credit report. So those options are still available to you. How much does a credit freeze cost? That depends on the state where you live, and also it depends on if you are a victim of ID theft. So for example, in most states, credit freezes are free if you have been a victim of ID theft, like I was. But you need to prove it, so sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth to save a few bucks. In my state, it costs $5 to put on a credit freeze. But in order to get that for free, I would need to submit a police report, and I would have to do it via the mail. And I wanted to get this done right away, so I just did it online and I paid the $5. So it's up to you if you would want to go through that hassle. For non-victims, the charge in most states is typically between $5 and $10 to add or lift the credit freeze, and then it's typically free to remove the freeze. How do I place a freeze on my credit reports? Well, you have to keep in mind that there are 3 credit reporting companies, 3 big ones: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and it's easy to find those companies online. Let me show you really quickly where you would get information about security freezes, credit freezes from each one of those sites. At Equifax, what you would want to do is scroll to the bottom, and you will see right here under Credit Report Assistance, it says place a security freeze on your report. So it's usually pretty easy to find information about these security freezes, credit freezes. The information is usually on the homepage of these sites. So that was Equifax. Here at Experian, you'll see under Consumer Assistance, right here, Security Freeze. That's what you would want. And then right over here at TransUnion, if you were to click on Credit Disputes, Alerts, and Freezes, right over here you see Credit Freeze. So it's really easy at the 3 big credit reporting agencies to find information and go ahead and get going with the credit freeze. Let me give you more information about what to expect. Be prepared to provide information like, of course, your name, your address, your social security number, etc. If you do have credit, then they already have an account for you, and what you're trying to do is prove who you are. At TransUnion, you'll need to create an account with the username and password, but the other 2 companies will allow you to complete the process without creating a new account. All three companies, this is important, will provide you with a PIN number. You don't want to lose it because you're going to need it if you want to temporarily lift that credit freeze. Or if you want to permanently remove the credit freeze, you're going to need that PIN number. So you want to make sure that you have that saved. Is a credit freeze right for you? Well, a credit freeze probably is right if you want added peace of mind. I feel pretty good knowing that I now have my credit reports frozen. A credit freeze would be right for you if you don't plan to apply for new credit. Keep in mind, if you apply for new credit, then the creditors are going to look at your credit report. And if you were to do that a lot, that might be a pain. So if you're not planning on applying for new credit, and I'm not really planning on doing that, then a credit freeze is probably right for you. And a credit freeze is probably right for you if you do plan to apply for new credit, but you don't mind lifting the freeze periodically. You would need to go to the websites. You would need to pay $5 or $10, whatever it is, to temporarily lift that freeze. So if that doesn't sound like such a big deal to you, then a credit freeze might be right for you. So I know this stuff is confusing, but after discussing this today, I hope that you're feeling pretty confident about it now. And if you want to put a credit freeze on your own credit reports, I hope you now feel that you have the ability to do that. Good luck.